now it's time to introduce our speaker, which is Antonia Hicks. And she really is a lovely, caring, and generous lady with a lot of spiritual insight. That's my opinion. So now I'll read you her official bio. Antonia Hicks officially became a member of the Metaphysical Chapel of Life in October of 2024, though her journey with the chapel began much earlier. It began with morning meditations in January of that year. You'll remember those. We got up early every morning for a year. Pretty great. Since then, Antonia has immersed herself in chapel events, especially through Zoom, because Antonia lives in York, Pennsylvania, and now serves as a director at large on the board of directors. Known for leading with love and action, Antonia brings a wealth of life experience, from catering large events on a shoestring budget to serving as an ordained minister for many years. And this is the part that gets me, because I don't have children. She has guided a Girl Scout troop of 50 girls with just one other parent. I mean, whoa. She calls herself a nurturer, whose greatest hope is that everyone finds their own inner light and enters the gates of heaven while still in the midst of their human experience. Antonia credits the chapel's support as life-changing. She believes wholeheartedly that the love cultivated within this beautiful, diverse spiritual group has the power to change the world. So, Antonia, you're on, and I'm going to move to the audience so I can see as well as hear you.
Good morning, everyone. This is a beautiful, beautiful, blessed morning. It's a full moon day. It's a lunar eclipse day. What better day for me to speak? I would like to start by giving honor to the Creator that has been so gracious to allow me to be here in breath, in life, and in spirit. I would like to take this time to do a little something, and I'm doing it for me, but I'm asking you to join me in it. I will take my hand. I would like for you to put your hand up in your chest, up in your sternum, place the other hand on top. And what I'm doing is I'm calling all parts of myself here so that I can enjoy whatever it is that's happening in this moment. So what happens is I take this hand and I tap 3 times. And what I'm doing is I'm calling in all parts of myself. So if you'll join me while I do this, we can all enter this space and enjoy whatever spirit has to share right now. You ready? Here we go. 1 and a breath. Now that I'm all here and present, I would like to start by saying thank you for an opportunity to be here and to share. This journey has been interesting. I can't find other words right now, but interesting is the word that I would use. I chose the song I Am because it embodies what Spirit has led me to talk about today. I wanted to talk about one thing, Spirit said not. So today, what I'm bringing forth is what I believe is what's needed in this time as we enter winter and the Christmas holidays. People suffer from depression and loneliness. And what I want to talk about is something called self-love. Not something that I have always had cultivated in my life. However, I can't know that I am if I don't know who I am. And so that has led me on a journey to discover who I am and the very essence of who I am. So when Spirit led me to this topic, it was kind of ironic because I'm a person that loves words now. Because those words had me in prison for so long, not understanding that I get to choose the definition that I apply to my life. So what happened was a lot of what I developed was partial, and self-love did not fully ground because of some of the childhood traumas that I suffered. So when spirit gave me that, it didn't start off by just saying self-love, which would have been nice, but it started off by saying it is big. I was like, okay, it's big. I like it. What's big? And what I got from spirit is it is big. And it broke down to in trust in spirit. Trust in spirit begins in God. So infinite trust in spirit begins in God. And so I'm like, yeah, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with that. And then it said, self love. Okay. Well, what I'll share with you is everything that I'm speaking is not anything that I learned from necessarily from books or other people. It's from a learned experience. And so this week, um, I understand why Spirit wanted me to talk about self love because I most definitely have had to embody it this week. Um, I had to put my mom in hospice yesterday, which is not really an easy thing for a child to do. And I, over the last 2 weeks, found myself a caregiver of my of someone that I really cared about, and they have dementia. So, uh, hmm, self-love. Well, what I've come to discover is just like the song that was sung, is to understand what it means and how to embody and love all parts of myself. And in that, it's not just words that are spoken, it's embodiment of those words, even in the most difficult times. And as I navigate all the complexities of all the things that I have going on in my life, what stands out different to me is my love of self. How I am not trying to take on more than I should, that I'm always mindful about how I'm feeling and being able to articulate it, to be able to feel as though I'm loved enough to say exactly how I feel. And that makes navigating life so much easier. Um, so with that, Spirit then showed me when you break down, because I'm gonna keep breaking words down, uh, self-love, the acronyms, it comes out to being able to embody and so it's spiritually elevated love frequency, living our vine experience. And I'll say it again. Self, spiritually elevated love frequency, which you are, which I am, which we are, and love, living our vine experience. Vine, Vine. So when I got that, I'm like, what am I supposed to do with that? People are going to look at me like, what are you talking about? Well, the first part of self-love, that spiritually elevated love frequency, we can pretty much get that, right? That's what we are. That's who we are. the love part of it, living our vine experience. When you look at the word vine, under the metaphysical definition of vine, it says that is, I am within us in on the vine. It's our branches are the faculties, and the body is the perfect fruit. So it says life currents is as it comes from the universal is one of vine, branches, and fruit. And on its free-flowing inner force that we fix our attentions, we demonstrate the power of spirit. So, not making it really complicated, our vine experience is our I am experience. And in order to really experience I am, we must know the I. So, in knowing the I, there is a deep dive of self-love. You know, I've dealt with depression. I've battled depression for so many years. And now I know depression was a depressed view of my life through someone else's eyes. Because the truth of the matter is, I never told myself anything bad about myself. That's not how it works. It is when we are, I like to say, domesticated and kind of uh, told something different than what we already know. Self love requires, or has required for me, stillness. And I ask Spirit about why is that the way to do this? And Spirit said, through stillness, you find wisdom. And wisdom is not loud. Wisdom is not boastful. Wisdom will just stand and wait, for it knows its truth. So in stillness, we find the very essence and the truth about ourselves. How at the end of the day, that we were never any of those things that someone else said we were, that we are beautifully and wonderfully created, that God makes no mistakes and no junk. And the biggest thing was when I read a scripture that said, and I'm paraphrasing, please don't beat me up, but I'm paraphrasing with, I am God's prayer. That really opened up some things for me. Because if I'm God's prayer and I'm the manifestation, um, what am I seeing in me? Not to see the God in me, not to see the beauty in me, and not to be the best in me. I believe that we are all here to find our way back to love, to embody the fullness of who we are, which is unconditional love, on purpose, in motion. And purpose for me is a personal understanding raised purely of spiritual experience. So it's personal. And in order for me to know what my purpose is, I really do need to know who I am. And what I will tell you is when I've embodied that, it has given me confidence. It has allowed me to find my voice. It's allowed me to know that I'm not too much. And even if I am, so what? It's it's allowed me to find my soul tribe. It's allowed me to weather so many storms. And there is a part in that song that says something to the effect of, if everything around me falls apart, there will still be love in my heart. Open eyes, I see. There is nothing to do, just be. So with that, I will say to be is to begin with loving yourself and understanding that even scripturally it talks about us loving our neighbors, and metaphysically the word neighbor. A man's neighbor is his nearest and most intimate embodied thought. So it's a lot easier to love your neighbor when you know you're loving yourself, right?
Mhm.
At least I found it that way. And so I want to leave you with my acronyms. First, it is big. In infinite trust in spirit begins in God. And and self-love is spiritually elevated love frequency, which you are, as we're living our divine experience, as we're living our I am experience. So, as I wrap up, I wanted to leave you with a few words. Well, more than a few words. I wanted to tell you that you are loved just as you are. You're source. And with that, you will always, always be enough. If people don't believe that if they think you're too much, let them think that, because then they must not think that they're enough. I think we're all just here trying our best to find our way back to where we started. And with that, I'm going to leave you with um, something that was led to my heart to write. And it says, I am an exponent of an infinite universe, unfolding in every breath I breathe until my full return to the total breath of infinite consciousness. Ashe. One last thing. Good, better, best. Good, better, best. Good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good is your better and your better is your best, because you are God's best. Thank you guys for giving me this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonia.
Thank you, Thank you, Antonia. That was fantastic. Thank you so much. And